Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. This here is an unusual kind of area to watch, a little spin right here. This is the tail end of a front, and sometimes what happens, these fronts move by, they leave a little leftover moisture, and that could kind of drift our way. There is a small chance it does try to develop into a subtropical storm. That is not likely, but there is a small chance. But either way, this spin over here is going to kind of drift our way in the Caribbean and closer to the Bahamas as we go over the next several days. So you can see it here just off to the northeast of us in Antigua and Barbuda. So I want to show you the winds, the American model and the European model with this area, plus a big front sliding through Canada in the US. I'll show you how far south it gets, and we'll do all of that in this video. Elsewhere, we've had some spotty areas of rain. Thank you for leaving those comments. I'll be going through those throughout the day to see kind of what we have going on island by island as we build this weather community. Now, getting a tropical system or a subtropical system, which means kind of not truly tropical in nature, it's more of a broader kind of a wind maker. Getting a named storm in December is rare. 17 named storms have formed in December on record. The last one was over a decade ago, December 5th through December 7th back in 2013, and that was well out there in the Atlantic by the Azores. So it does happen, but incredibly rare for something to spin up. So this is actually an area I'm watching to see if it does try to develop further. Again, I'm not really seeing that being a likely scenario, but let me show you what we've got going on, right? We have those winds that have been very gusty at times. See the wind scale here, kilometers an hour and miles per hour to keep everyone covered. Now, going forward in time, here comes that front, which I'm about to show you in both of those models. And you see the wind sharply out of the north through the Gulf of Mexico. Some of the winds gusting 40, maybe 50 miles per hour, 60 to about 80 kilometers an hour. But this over here, just north of Anguilla, north of Antigua, Barbuda, this little curl right in here, that's the spot I'm watching. So this here is by Thursday, and you see this kind of spin over here, a broad area of low pressure. That's the tail end of the front. That's the spot I'll be watching to see kind of what it does as we get into the upcoming weekend. Here's that front that moves in, but you see if you look closely, just this little curl right in here, this is the area to watch, and even some stronger winds on this. Now it's not going to become a tropical system like a hurricane or a tropical storm. Very small chance it becomes a subtropical storm. That means the center is not warm cored. It's just basically a broad area of low pressure, but what it could do is give us some gustier winds at times, spin in some fast moving showers and those higher seas. So here it is on the bigger picture with the American model. Then we'll get into the European model. So here's the front, colder air back behind it, but here's that leftover moisture from the old front. Now let's go out in time further. This here is by tomorrow afternoon, and you see a couple things. That rain is actually building here. Here's Bermuda, so off to the east of Bermuda. Here is that front. I'll zoom down with this in a second. The cooler, colder air moving back into the Gulf, and that'll clip us by in the northern Caribbean. Big rain, snowmaker, parts of Canada, eastern seaboard. And then you see as this front moves off, this area is still here, and you see it even better, right with me? This is by the time we get into late Thursday, still sitting over the open waters, but it still hangs around right through the end of the week. And you see it here as this front falls apart, we're going to see this area just kind of working its way toward us, and that could eventually bring some of us some fast-moving showers, parts of the eastern, northern Caribbean, right through the Bahamas as we go further. And then this here is by the time we get into the upcoming weekend. This is later on Saturday. Still showing some of this moisture kind of hanging around. Here's the old front. Here's another front moving in. So that'll be the spot to monitor as we go forward. Not kind of a typical scenario for this time of year. Very interesting to watch, no doubt. And yeah, it could give us some of those showers. So let me show you the European model here, and then we'll get into some of the rain totals. Here comes that front. Here's Cuba, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, just to orient you, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, St. Lucia, for example. Now let's go out in time here. This is by Friday. So jumping out in time, and you see the green on the map, that's some of the rain on the map. Now, this shows the same thing as the American model. Here's that front that dips down into the Caribbean, parts of the Caribbean, but here's that area, kind of that broad area, little storm system trying to develop, and every now and then it could bring us some fast-moving showers to the British, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, St. Kitts and Nevis. We may get some of that, and then eventually toward the Bahamas. And let's get deeper into the forecast period. This is deeper into the weekend. By Sunday, look at this moisture. It does drift our way, just like the American model is showing. Fast-moving showers back toward the Bahamas, northern Caribbean, and then with this next front, it's going to kind of combine with it. It looks like by the time we get into next week, so a week from now, this whole area may kind of combine with a front lift up to the north. Could be a pretty big storm system getting closer to Bermuda. We'll wait and see on this. Again, this is just over a week from now. But as this lifts to the north, next week it may actually drag down a front and some cooler weather for more of us in the Caribbean once we get into next week. So this is going to be a big player in our weather. First, to see if it does develop. Second, to see if we get spotty showers and some winds from this. And then to see as it moves away if it eventually spins in some cooler weather for us as we get into next week. Now, hurricane season, it's done. I showed you how rare it is to get a named storm in December. It's not likely that this area becomes one. The season ended on Sarah, Tony, Valerie, William. Those are the next names on the list. The list holds through the end of the year. The new list cranks in at the new year. Now you see it with the waves. It's going to stay choppy, of course, in the Caribbean. Everything kind of bumpy. This area of high pressure. I was showing you the wind pattern in yesterday's video, why it has been so windy, if you want to take a look at that. But the seas stay choppy to a high in parts of the Atlantic and the Caribbean. But this here, some dangerous conditions over toward the Gulf of Mexico with the front moving in. Everything building, the Bay of Campeche kind of piling up 3 to about 4 meters, over 10 feet in some spots. These elevated seas are with that front dropping in. This here is by Friday, and then the Atlantic waters, very, very rough. And then you see here, building further, those brighter colors, elevated seas, that's with the area that I'll be monitoring as we get into the weekend and into next week. Now here's that smaller picture for us so we could kind of zoom down a little bit closer. Hit or miss shower today as we just go across the board. Belize, Honduras, we could get a couple. ABC Islands, we may get a few trying to move by, a few back toward Haiti, but rain chance not too high. This is the front. This is by tomorrow afternoon. Starts to drop in. Merida, Cancun, Campeche, Cozumel, better chance of rain. Even parts of Guatemala and Belize swinging right up toward Cuba and the northern Bahamas. This here is by Thursday. Then the front kind of falls apart and it gets stuck. So it doesn't really move by for a lot of us. It's not going to bring us a lot in the way of cooler weather. It's a big front, but as it moves into the Caribbean, it falls apart. But there's that moisture just to the northeast of us once we work our way into Friday. And that's what may start to kind of drift our way by the time we get into the upcoming weekend and give us some of those gustier winds. North of all this, here's the Atlantic region of Canada. Watching again this front taking shape. This is the new one as it lifts to the north and feeds off of some of the water in the Atlantic. More moisture kind of piles in. We'll see that surge of some moisture, especially late tomorrow night. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, for example. Backside coming out of Quebec, that colder weather changing over to some of that snow. You see it right there. Then that front starts to lose its punch. This is by Thursday. Colder weather, but not much in the way of rain. Newfoundland, we could see some of that trying to clip by Bermuda late in the day Thursday into Friday. But there's that blob of moisture just to the south, and that's that spot that's going to kind of drift toward the west over the next few days. So rain total's not super high, so even our northern zones, because that front starts to fall apart. If we get a shower, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, maybe an inch of rain or 25 millimeters of rain. Most will be less to nothing. We swing back here. This is where we could get a few repeat showers. So Dominica, Guadeloupe, we may get a spot or two that gets over an inch of rain or upwards of maybe an inch and a half of rain, 50 millimeters of rain tops if we get some repeat showers the next 2 days. But you see not a lot in the way of brighter colors. Now Guyana and Suriname, northern sections, better chance of rain. I'll show you that in a second. Some of that could feed our way in Trinidad and Tobago. St. Vincent the Grenadines, we're not going to see a lot of rain. Same thing for us in Grenada. But Trinidad, we could see a little bit more in the way of showers. Barbados, St. Lucia would just be a passing variety. But Trinidad South, you see some of those totals. That could be 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain the next few days right through here, northern Guyana. And then we swing back here, spotty showers, watching that through Central America. And we'll see some spots over toward parts of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize and Guatemala as that front moves in. A few spots that will try to push 25 millimeters of rain or an inch of rain. There's the front with the moisture. Initially, there's a lot of rain with it, and then it will be falling apart as it continues to work its way toward the Bahamas. So you see how that rain chance is not very high. Jamaica, we're looking at a 30-40% chance, just a 20% chance, not only today, but the next few days across the Cayman Islands. Rain chance about 50% though for us in Trinidad and Tobago. Not so much Tobago, a little bit more Trinidad, especially our southern zones, just monitoring that chance of showers. Keep me posted in the comments. Rain chance 50% tomorrow and Thursday in Barbados, 40% chance tomorrow and Thursday in St. Lucia. So our rain chance isn't high, but it does bump up. This would be some passing showers, 20% chance in Grenada. Could see a couple more by Thursday, up to about a 50% chance, and a 20 to 30% chance on the low side, St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the next couple. 30 to 40% chance in Martinique, and a 30 to 40% chance the next 3 days in Dominica. Rain chance 30% today, tomorrow in Guadeloupe. It stays small. 40% chance Antigua, Barbuda, 20% chance tomorrow, and a 30% chance of a passing shower on Thursday. 20 to 30% chance St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat, and we're watching that area off to the east. Anguilla and St. Bart's, rain chance holding at an even 30%. And we do that again, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia the next few days. Small chance of an isolated shower. Could get a couple passing showers in Puerto Rico. Our rain chance is not very high, and just that limited 20% chance U.S. and British Virgin Islands. 20% chance the next couple days in the Bahamas. Does bump up a little bit northern Bahamas, Freeport, New Providence, with that front that will be dropping by. Turks and Caicos, rain chance stays low. Could see a few scattered showers in the Dominican Republic today. Rain chance stays on the low side across Haiti. 20 to 30% chance the next few days. Belize, the rain chance starts to bump up some. This is not a washout though. These are in the way of scattered showers as that front starts to drop in. 30% chance in Aruba. There's that chance of a passing shower. Curacao, Bonaire, same thing. 30% chance the next few days. 20% chance by Thursday. Northern Guyana, though, the better chance of some rain today, and if we get any rain in Suriname, it will be northern sections closer to the water. Rain chance 20 to 30% in Cuba. That front will start to work in, but as it does, it starts to fall apart. Costa Rica, Panama, by Thursday, a rain chance does bump up to about 50%, and you see it building a bit in Nicaragua, building a bit as well in Honduras. 50% chance of some scattered showers once we work our way into tomorrow. 20% chance today in Guatemala and El Salvador, but it does bump up to a 40% chance later in the week. Small 5, maybe 10% chance of a shower Thursday, Mexico City. Yucatan Peninsula tomorrow, some scattered showers as our front clips by. 20% chance, that's it in northern Colombia, northern Venezuela, just a 30% chance. And as we work our way back toward Bermuda, the front starts to fall apart. Tomorrow night, we may get a couple of showers moving in, but the rain chance overall not on the high side. So that big spin just kind of drifts its way closer. I'll monitor to see if we get any development out of that. Higher seas, gusty winds, and eventually as this works its way toward us, it'll bring us some of those fast-moving showers, and we have that big cold front dropping in, another one behind it. We'll track that in upcoming videos ahead. I hope you're doing well. Have a good rest of your day.